Hey everyone on YouTube, how are you today? We're back with another live stream. It's been a long time here. And if anyone's watching right now, if you can give me a thumbs up, let me know the sound is okay. That would be pretty cool. A little scruffy. I need to do a little grooming here. I forgot about live streams and stuff. So, yeah, I need a haircut. Okay, sound is good. Sound is good. Awesome. Awesome. So, yeah, a lot going on in the last month. It's just been lots of stuff. Hey, Phoenix, thanks so much for watching. Had to put my older French bulldog down. My mom's been in the hospital for like 8 days. And before all of that, we had a home renovation that went on way too long. So lots and lots of life distractions, and all that's kind of done now. And hopefully we can just kind of get back to doing the live streams. I have been doing my regularly scheduled Zoom class on drawingtutorialsonline.com for members there. That's a weekly thing. We're in the middle. We kind of just started a 10-week summer semester course where we're going to be working on landscape drawings, portrait drawings, and figure drawings together as a small little group there. So, all right. I think that's enough of me talking. These glasses are a little foggy. I just cleaned them. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's the glare of the lights. Let's get started. So let me switch my camera so you can see the reference. And I've also posted the photo reference. If you want to get it, it's right there on my community posts. If you go to my channel, on the community posts, there's the photo reference. So you can get it for yourself. I also have it right here. If you just kind of bear with me for a second. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now the first question I get a lot is, where'd you get this photo? Well, I got this photo from Graphit Studio, and they have different levels of payment. And I bought their YouTube license so I can use it on YouTube. And they're a great place to get really, really good photo reference. I've got to see if they have like an affiliate links because I'm going to keep promoting their photos. I think they're pretty awesome. Outdoor Spaces, welcome, welcome. And that's Uchi, I can't say that. Hello. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's get started here. And I'm going to do my warm up. I just want to get the feel of this paper. I kind of want to see where I'm at with my touch and with my hand and with this paper. And I'm probably going to zoom in a moment here. Let me just get like a little piece of tape. But I want to get a sense of where I'm at. So my warm up. So today I'm using a Blackwing pencil 602. Where did I get this? Well, I actually stole it from my daughter's room. True story. So my daughter had these, and I'm like, Bella, let me check them out. And she gave me one, and then I asked her for another one. She has like a couple boxes, and she's not home today, but I went in her room and I just found another brand new one. So I'll have to tell her that I'm continually stealing her pencils. She likes to do like tattoo art and stuff like that. Not seriously, just for fun. So I'm just doing my proverbial oval warm up thing. Now, this pencil is super soft. It's kind of in your face. It's very graphite-y. And it's what are the pros and the cons of it? Well, the pros are you do not need to press down very hard to get like your richest dark. And I like that. For these quick like YouTube and Zoom classes that I like to teach, this is like perfect. So I'm just going to do some like long figure eights. I'm going to draw here in a moment. So I'm definitely going to zoom in because I'm really kind of zoomed out. So let me do that before I start to kind of get a feel for where I'm at. Now, usually with these live streams, I don't like to do too much small talk. I like to kind of get right into it. I did watch a live stream of another artist recently, and I'm like, whoa, okay, this person's like in no rush to get started. And it was like a 3 hour like live stream, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to just chill out a little bit and not get to it. But your time is valuable, and I appreciate you joining me here today. So I don't want to like bore you to death. Okay, that's my little warm up. So now let's get a sense of where I'm at. So this is the top of my video monitor. Well, my camera, I should say, my space live area. I just want to get a sense of that. Okay, so this is my live area right over here. Awesome. And what I would like to do is to give my camera a little cue that maybe it needs to be a little bit brighter. And actually, let me move my photo reference over. Good. I've got my photo reference in 3 places. I've got it, just making this a little bit smaller. Bear with me. I know this is not that exciting for you to watch, but I'm gonna be drawing like, oh, I guess that's the size I'm gonna do. We're gonna be drawing like momentarily here. We're gonna start cranking stuff out. Now, look, my paper's gray. It will get lighter as I start to draw, but if I just simply give my camera this grayscale, and you should always use this grayscale when you photograph your artwork. So I want it off the screen, obviously, so I'm just going to tape it on there, so hopefully my camera will see just like the corner of it, especially the dark. Okay, that's mucho importante. All right, so last little adjustment. Better. Now, okay, where do I start? Where do I start on this particular portrait? Good question. Do I start with angles on the edge? Do I start with drawing the eye first? So yeah, okay, so I'm just looking. If I put the model's eye here, do I have enough room? So I'm going to move it. Let's just kind of go for it. So I'm going to start with the models right above their eyelid, and I'm going to come on down, and this is their eyelid, and this is their upper eyelid, and their tear duct, and then we have an angle, and then we have like a little half circle. I know that's really small. Whoa, that's small. So let's zoom in. Yeah, better. Okay. So yes, and so let me keep going here, and I'm going to use my blend-in stump, and I'm going to use a brush because I want this to feel like a painting. Okay, I want to be extremely tonal with it today, and I don't know why, but I did a landscape little drawing of like rocks in a stream for my Zoom class on DTO, and I really enjoyed using this pencil and working with tone. So now that eyebrow is a little bit too far away from the, yeah, way too far away. Okay, so now I'm just going to do that eyebrow. So let's see, how does the kneaded eraser work here? Okay, kneaded eraser. Good, it works pretty good. Let me just look at this. Yeah, hey Steve, good to see you. Awesome, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. So let me move up. So that eyebrow is still very far from this eyelid, but let's just leave it for now and not get stuck. So now I'm going to do the other eyebrow. So I'm kind of looking at the distance between this eyebrow and where this one starts. So now I'm going to do that, and it kind of, the nose loops down. Now I got to be careful I don't go too slow here. So now I'm going to look at all these quick measurements in this little confined area before I start to move on. So I'm also looking at from the eyelid to the bridge of the nose, and that distance is not that far. So I'm going to bring in the model's nose to the right just a little bit. And before I go any further with this, I just want to see what it would be like if I put in that eyelid as a shape and I put in those lashes right over there. So I can feel my rustiness right now. And so I'm just going to kind of plow through it and see where this drawing takes us and not think too much about, oh, this sucks, that sucks, I suck. Just kind of draw and let the cards fall where they may. So now I'm doing that little shadow under the model's nose, and I'm not going to get stuck there. I'm going to do the forehead. And another thing that happens if you keep saying, oh, my proportions are no good, oh, this likeness isn't there, well, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't want to talk to yourself that way when you're drawing. You just kind of want to go a little bit faster and let the drawing happen. And if you give yourself like too many rules in the beginning, it's going to get like frustrating. So you just kind of want to draw and then adjust as you go, and don't think too much. So I know there's like a pretty good tilt with that. And so, yeah. Okay. Now I am drawing this drawing a little bit bigger than I wanted to. But it's all good. I like to do the site size thing where I kind of do the drawing the same size as my photo reference. But that's not going to happen right now because I'm already much bigger. So, all right, cool. So let's do the lips, and those lips come on down. I want to do something, and I'm looking at the distance from the corner of the lip to the bottom of the nose, and I should make that lower lip a little less long. And now chin and jaw. Okay. So that's my first go through with the facial features. It's far from perfect, but that's okay. So let's keep going. So I'm going to do the hair. Let's see, how's that chat going? If you have any questions, don't be afraid to post one in the chat. So now I'm going to just do this hair, and I'm thinking about angle. Let's see. Now what I need to do is I need to move my drawing over. Okay. So yeah, I did this. My bad. Okay, timeout. I need to move my piece of paper over because I'm too far to the right, and I want this to fill the screen because I think on these live streams, bigger is better in terms of the drawing being bigger on the piece of paper. Now I'm going to have to definitely zoom out here momentarily. So just hang in there with me as I do a couple of adjustments here with taping my paper down. Now, okay, let's zoom out. Well, let's leave it like that for now and see what happens. So grab the pencil. Actually, I'm just going to get a little swig of coffee and look at this from far away. Got my bulletproof coffee from David Asprey. And yes. Okay, so chin is a little bit shorter. Chin. Jaw. Don't go too dark with the jaw. Keep it fairly light. A jaw over here, back up to the hair. Okay, now I moved everything to the left. I need to move my photo reference to the left so I can see the rest of the model's hair. So now we've got an angle here that kind of comes down. I'm looking at this distance to this distance and shorter. And sideburn area is lower than the eye. A little bit darker over here. I'm looking at the distance from the hair to the eye. What I like about the live streams is it's kind of no frills. I haven't really been doing any drawing except for my Zoom classes, and it's nice to just come on YouTube in front of everybody and just try to draw and see what happens. And it's fun. It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge to do that. And okay, so hair. And I've been doing this for so many years. It should take me a little while just to kind of get warmed up and make this drawing happen and not overthink it and be like, oh, I need to practice for a day. I need to draw a couple hours before the live stream. I used to think that way, but now I think it's just good to use the live streams for the practice. Nancy, good to see you, Nancy. Blackwing Palomino 602. It sounds like we're talking about like sports cars. Yeah, nice. You got the Palomino 602. It's like a new Ferrari. Yeah, I'm trying it. Now, for me, what I like is using this pencil in tandem with a blending stump and a brush. Now, I have completely changed. And in the past, I used to preach over and over and over to my members of DTO, do not use a blend-in stump. Do not use a blend-in stump. And I've changed. Like, I've definitely changed. I like a blend-in stump. I should have said to my members, don't overuse a blend-in stump. And that's the problem that I see with blend-in stumps is people overuse them. And then your drawing becomes this soft, messy, kind of over-blended thing that isn't really appealing. And so I like using the blend-in stump in a minimalistic way. Okay, so there's my first go-through. Okay. First go through, is it perfect? No. Are we going to make some changes? Yes. Am I going to like try to ruin it now with the blending stump? Yes, absolutely. John Doe, use the blending stump. Yes. Look at this monstrosity. So we're going to use it, people. We're going to use this thing. Okay. So, yes. But before I do, I'm seeing a major thing over here with that eyebrow that's affecting my likeness. Um, I don't want to put too much rubber down on the paper because then it has an effect uh, of how the drawing looks. No, sorry, not that. It has an effect on how the pencil lays down on the paper if you overdo the using of the eraser early on. Okay, cool. Um, Now, blend and stump. So I'm coming on in, and this is a shadow shape above the eyelid that you always want to have in your drawing. This is just a phenomenal photo, because it's there's not too many shadows. So I'm looking at this shadow under the eye. Yes, I'm not worried about outlining the eye right now. I want this to be a little bit more painterly today. I'm going to come on in nice and soft. It's kind of like an impressionistic drawing right now. So the brow between the eyebrows should not be as light as the light on the top of the forehead here. Um, so I'm going to come on in, and now I want to get that other eyelid, and I need to really adjust my angles with all of this. Okay, cool. And this part of the hair is not white paper, so I'm going to kind of get rid of white paper. I like that better already. It's not perfect, but we're going to kind of keep going here. And let's see, John Doe, so smooth. Okay, John Doe, thank you for making me laugh. That's a good thing. Take the stress out of the live stream. Yeah, so let's do this. So coming on down, some hair in front of that ear. And what am I doing basically? I am trying to get shape down on the paper because for me, shape is everything. And I love doing gesture drawings with just outlines? Of course. But I first was taught with shape because I was a painter before I drew with line. And so for me, it's like my comfort zone. It's kind of like chocolate ice cream tone. And it's just the way to go. So now that lower lip has a value, and the chin has a value. And there's some shapes over here and shadow under the chin. Now I'm trying to draw a little bit with the blending stump because I've got residual on there. And that shadow in under the ear and this shape is very important because this is going to help us determine if our width of the head is good or bad or needs to be worked on. Okay, so now, back to the pencil. Feel like I have a little bit of a shaky hand here today, but hopefully that will go away. Blend and stump tip. Use sandpaper to reshape them instead of trying to peel that dang paper. I like that, Nancy. Thank you so much. That's a really, really good suggestion. And Victoria, this is great. I am motivated to sign up for your online class. Thank you, Victoria. So what's the difference between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website? Well, and what are the benefits that members get? And I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch, so just give me like 30 seconds to tell you the benefits. It's the critiques. It's the critiques and it's the feedback. Like I'm not here on YouTube, you're watching me draw, but you can watch like hundreds of really good teachers on YouTube, watch them draw and paint. But on my website, I'm actually critiquing your artwork. And that's the big difference, right? And then I'm critiquing it in the weekly video critiques. I'm critiquing it on the Zoom class in our second hour, the Q&A part of our live stream on Zoom. And that's the big difference. And feedback is huge. Okay, where's my mono zero? And the other thing is if you're not into a membership and that's not your thing, I also during these summer months, I also offer one-on-one coaching. And the coaching is really good if you're looking for something very personal, just me and you talking on Zoom, me devoting an hour a week or every other week to devoting critiquing your artwork and only your artwork on a personal video critique, and then sending you via email screenshots of all of the adjustments that I do to your drawings in Photoshop. So that one's a little bit more intense, and I've got that on my website in my shop. You can click on that. Okay, so that's enough of me talking about the website. Let's get back to this drawing. So now what I'm doing here, people, is you see what I just did there? I went on the edge here and I adjusted some of those angles. Okay, so very cool. And that helped me a lot. And she's starting to appear. I do believe the eye is a little bit too big. And yes, but let's keep going. Don't worry about that. So now jawbone. Don't go super. I repeat myself all the time. Apologies for that. But try not to go so hard with the jawbone. Like people will do this thing, sorry for the scrap piece of paper, where they draw the head and the jawbone, they go all the way across. And don't do that. What you do when you do that, it just stiffens up the drawing. So you see, like I see the jawbone in the photo, and so do you, but I'm keeping it light over here. Now let's also, I'm gonna start curved with the shading, and then I'm gonna start to go vertical. And this, you see this line on the model's neck, the fold of skin, because she's looking back. Do not press down hard on that. That is not a flattering line. It will make your drawing look very awkward. We're drawing a young girl here, so I don't want to have like really dark wrinkles and folds. You know, I just did a video critique for a coaching student, Scott, and he did a drawing. I wish I can show it to you. Scott did a really good job, and I would love to show you his drawing and show you my critique, but I don't know. I don't want to violate where he got the photo from, the copyright and all that jazz, so I can't do that on YouTube. But yeah, it was an old man, and I'm an old man, right? So it is what it is. But if it's an old man, I'm doing these lines dark all day long. It's just more grittiness for the portrait. But for a young girl, this is just my little rule. You don't have to follow my little rule, but for me it works. I don't like to overdo like contrast on certain features and parts of the body. I like to have the contrast lower, which means I'm not going to draw attention to this fold of skin on the back of the neck. I'd rather bring your eye to her eyes. Nancy, the critiques are gold. I haven't been in one of the classes for a couple years. Awesome. I appreciate that, Nancy. Thank you so much. Let's keep going with this. So now remember, everybody here on YouTube, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. That's why I'm here. Now I've got to get this model's ear. And, you know, I always kind of, I don't know what the hell my problem is. I always procrastinate with the live streams. And once I start them and I get relaxed and I like the way the drawing's coming out, I'm like, idiot. Why don't you just do the live streams more? And so I need to get past my little block. Now, when you do the ear, please do not press down hard initially. I'm going to go back to the blend in some. You don't want to have on a young girl like this black shapes inside of the ear. It's just not going to look flattering at all. You kind of want to keep that ear a little bit low contrast. It's not a cop-out that you're not shading the details in the ear or rendering the details in the ear. It's just that don't draw my attention first to the model's ear. Now, I've got one big hot mess over there, so I need to resolve that ear a little bit more. But what do you think we're going to do right now, people? We're going back to that monstrosity we call a blend and stump. But before we do, I need to get another little swig of coffee beef. My coffee is usually a fat bomb, so I don't want it to like get too cold. That would be gross. 1 second. Okay. So if you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Fat bomb. Bulletproof coffee. So David Asprey, he's a best-selling author. He's a longevity person, health biohacker type person. And he didn't invent it. He kind of discovered it. And this bulletproof coffee. So you put MCT oil and you put fat, which is comes in the form of grass-fed butter, and you put the MCT oil and the butter in your coffee, and it just all of a sudden your brain turns on because of the fat, and it's like holy shit. Now I wouldn't do this if I was eating like the standard American diet. I wouldn't do it at all because standard American diet is basically sugar and carbs. But if you're on a keto diet and or something like that, Mediterranean or paleo, it's doable. Um, so yeah, it doesn't mix good with sugar. It's not supposed to be mixed with sugar at all. So all right, now what I'm gonna do is just put in some more value, and then I might have to do a little bit of background tone. Okay, so I'm gonna switch now. I'm gonna switch. So I'm gonna go to this brush, and now actually, let me see if I can't make this paper lighter. Let me just put that right there. Or, oh yeah, that's where it needs to go. But I've got hundreds of these things, so I'm just bear with me. I need to cut this thing. 1 second. I've had my membership website for so many years, since 2008. And I used to give these away, these value scales, when people would buy my Castron DVD box set. And so I was cleaning out my flat files this winter in the basement, and I found like hundreds of these that I used to give away for free with that thing. A brush, hang on a minute, a brush and a pencil in the same piece. What's going on here? So, okay, let's explain. I like to use two different brushes. I like to use this little brush, and I like to use this big brush. So I'm being sloppy with this drawing, and so I'm using the big brush first. So the brush is awesome because what it does is it puts a nice blend on this piece, but not as hard as the blending stump. And so what's the benefit of that? Well, the benefit of that is that we can easily come in now to the drawing with an eraser, and it just erases beautifully, beautifully. And yeah, so that's why I like to use this. Now, I'm not worried about shading within the lines at all. I'm just trying to get some tone down on this. Now, where's the lightest light on her skin? It would be the brow bone. It would be the nose. Not over here on the jaw, but I certainly don't want to go too dark with that. And this neck area needs a ton of attention. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So, yeah, I'm just blending, people. Getting rid of contrast, pushing the pencil into the paper, and it's very, very atmospheric now. Um, do you have to do this? No, you don't have to do this. I just, for me, with this pencil, this is gold. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could take this little brush now, and I could push this into the paper. Now you got to be careful. You know, this isn't the most expensive paper that I'm using. It's just very common Strathmore 400 series. You can get it at any art supply place. I'm not using like an illustration board that could take like much more abuse. This takes some abuse, but you don't want to push it. Okay, good enough. Now, all right, next step, people. Where is my razor blade? I want to use my Mono Zero. Okay. So this is akin to like pulling out the lights. Pulling out the lights with oil painting traditional with a cheesecloth. So let me just put this here. And I want to just cut at the risk of going through that. I'll try to be gentle. Now, I cut way too much of the eraser off, which is no good because you can go through these erasers really fast. So now, okay, this feels like an illegal technique. Awesome. A little illegal. A little. It depends on what state you live in. Each state has different sorts of rules. Okay, but I digress. So forehead goes back, and nose comes out. I'm being painterly on this one, people. I'm not. Okay, so this model has a cute little nose and short distance between the nose and the upper lip. The upper lip comes out, and then there's a little gap. Does it come out more than the nose? I'm just looking. I think the lip needs to come out a little bit more. Hang in there, hang in there. Yeah, absolutely. So hold on, let me sharpen this pencil. Okie dokie. So I want to move the lip a touch to the left. And now we said that there's a little space in between the upper lip and the lip. Oh my God, do I actually hear a street sweeper in the neighborhood? What the hell? My tax dollars at work? There's an actual town street sweeper? Wait a second. I'm looking out the window. I'm looking out the window. Holy, I'm gonna curse. I'm sorry. Holy shit! There's an actual street sweeper. That is nuts. I haven't seen one of those in years. What the hell? Okay. Now I want. I've got to make sure that this model's lip area juts out to the left, and it's not jutting out enough for me. And that's going to give the tilt of the head. So short chin, short chin. That's so much fun right there doing this with this eraser. It's cool. And the street sweeper went in front of my house, not my neighbors across the street. So I'm happy about that. Okay, that just helped tremendously. Okay, so I need to make the eyelid smaller, I think. I can always make it stick out more if I screw this up. I want to get this tilt. So that's really what I'm trying to accomplish with all of that. And now let's get that eyelid. Now that eye is way too big, way too big. The nose. And holy shit, I'm so excited. The shit that you get excited about when you're older, right? A freaking street sweeper outside. Craziness. Okay, so we're getting there, people. We're getting there. So there's no lights there. I gotta stay true to this gal. We've got this strand of hair and this strand of hair. Is that too far away to the right? Maybe. Is the jaw too far to the right over here? Maybe. Yes, sweeping away all of the negativity and self-doubt. I love it. I love it. How you talk to yourself is crucial when you're an artist. I've learned this a lot by following certain athletes and their mindset when they're in the middle of a competition and what they think about when they compete. And I've been studying that now for years for other things that I do in my life. And it's huge. So like just to kind of give you like an idea of what I'm even talking about here. So let's say you're a high school student and you're a basketball player and it's the championship and you were fouled and then you have to shoot a free throw. And everybody in the high school gym is watching, your parents, your friends, everybody, and you have to throw this ball into the net under all of that pressure. So what you think about at that moment is crucial. And so you're not thinking about, oh my God, what if I miss? What if I miss? My friends are going to kill me and I'm going to look like such an asshole in front of the whole entire school. And oh my God, this is like so stressful. Instead of thinking about that, you think, okay, I'm just going to dribble the ball 3 times like I do, like I've been doing for the last 2 years. And I'm just going to look at the backboard. I am just going to look at the backboard, and where I look, that ball is going to go. Instead of thinking, oh my God, what if I miss? What if I miss? That's the wrong thing to think about. So, like, it's this mental process, and it's the same thing when you're an artist and you're creating, like, oh my God, I suck. Oh my God, I can't do portraits. Like, portraits, they're so challenging for me. I've never been good at drawing eyes. If you keep saying that, it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so you've got to really guard yourself against that language. Now, I do it. I do it sometimes when I doing like a stream of conscious, and I'm teaching like this on YouTube or in the classroom. I'll just randomly start to like beat myself up, and it's just a habit. But when I'm doing other things outside, I'm very, very conscious of not doing that. And for those of you, and I ask my students this all the time, I'm like, hey, how many of you this past week have said, "Oh my God, I suck. I can't do this. Why does my homework always suck?" and all that? And they raise their hand, and we look at each other. And this is at my SPA classes, and it's funny. It's totally funny when we discover what people think about when they're creating, and we try to get that negativity out of the way, and just like a process for the basketball player to not say, "Oh my God, what if I miss?" Instead, looking at the backboard. And it's the same thing with students. Don't think about, oh my God, what are my classmates going to think of my artwork? This really sucks. They're going to think I'm pretty lame. No, just think about like your work process and being consistent in what you do when you work every time. So it's almost like predictable. Like, yeah, absolutely. Sorry for the tangent, but I really get into that type of stuff. Like, I'm watching right now the Stanley Cup playoffs, and there's this goalie that I like on the Florida Panthers, Sergei Bobrovsky. I've never said his name. Bob is for short. And I watch him. They sing the anthems before the games, and then they talk about the goalies, and they show the goalies right before the game starts. And at right before, this goalie does the same thing every game. He looks at the net, then he takes the water bottle, squirts it all over. He goes to the side. Like, his movements are identical, and that's his process. So you've got to think the same way when you're drawing a portrait or doing your artwork. Okay, so now, where are we with this? Let's use another even bigger brush. Okay, so I want to get my eraser crumbs. I'm tapping, softening. Cool. And I'm going to go back to this bigger brush. Her jaw is really kind of too pushed out, but I think it looks awesome. I like it like that, actually. So let's just push a little bit more, softening everything up. And let's go to the smaller brush. So these are called go-throughs. I'm going through it all different, and then we'll keep going through it and starting over. I think I need to work on now the details. Let's see, how long have we been at this? We haven't been at this for long. It's 40 minutes. So this is my 40-minute drawing right here. That's what it would look like with this pencil. And so the beautiful thing about this pencil is you're able to put down value down quickly. And yeah, I like that. And my hand is not killing me. It's, yeah, cool. All right, a little bit more coffee. 1 second. 1 second. I'm just looking. I think the jaw is too pronounced, although I like it. I'm just looking. The chin is too long, so I'm going to shorten the chin. I need to work on the bridge of the nose. Yes. The eyebrow bridge in the nose area, absolutely. And I need to raise the forehead a touch. Okay, so I know what I've got to do here. So a little bit more coffee. Cool. And sharpen this pencil. And mono zero. So let's get the angle. Let's see. Okay, that's the other beautiful thing about graphite. It gets all over your hands, and you can smudge with that too. So I'm going to shorten the chin. Just do a little bit at a time. Shorten the chin. Cool. Okay, and the space in between the lips and the angles of the upper lip and the angle of that nose. So the nose comes in, then it juts out. Okay, and this needs to be smoother. There's no light here, but I've got to erase it. Tip of the nose I've got to erase a little bit. And this part of the nose I've got to erase a little bit over here. I made that a little bit too light, but that's okay. And the brow bone right here is very light. This needs to be lifted up. Yes, a lot. This eyebrow here. Okay. Back to the pencil. Let's see, eyebrow higher. And hair shape higher. Let's see, where's this eyebrow? Right about there. This eyelid a little bit higher. And love that lash sticking out like that. It's very, very fun to draw that. The bottom of the hair. Couple loose strands of hair over here. Let's work on this eye a little bit. So tear duct. How far away is the tear duct from the bridge of the nose? And then the roundness of the eyelid. And then that little fold right there comes down. And then let me resharpen this. It's a little funky right now. Okay, she's looking down. So I'm just suggesting that eye. I don't want to go too crazy with it. And I want to come back over here. Don't know if I'm loving this, but let's just keep going with it. Okay, good. And a little bit more pencil down on the paper here. Let's get that lower eyelid. And suggest some details over here. We don't want to go too crazy with the lower eyelid. Let's go to the nostril now. So I didn't love the way that was coming out. So you just want to put some suggestive details there, but you don't want to get stuck there. So if you don't like the way that it's coming out, move on and then go back to that area. So back to the nose, and we need to suggest the nostril. Now, if you've been watching me over the years, you realize that I repeat over and over again, do not make that nostril so very dark. Kind of keep it more of like a mid-tone. That's just my philosophy. And we need to come on down with that shadow that the nose is casting above the lip. Oh, I see. There's like a little bit of light above the upper lip. So I need to get that. And that will define the upper lip a little bit more. So I'll do that with the eraser in a little bit. Okay, cool. And I can't even see this gal's lips. I've got a lot of glare right now. So time out. I just needed to move corner of the mouth and the lower lip angle and the shadow. Okay, cool. Got it. Getting there slowly. I might have to lower this eyebrow. Yes. Um, mono zero. Mono zero. What in God's name do I do with this stuff? There it is. Okay. Let's make this eyebrow a little bit lower. A great tool for working with graphite, charcoal, and paints is a maul stick. Keeps your hand off the paper. Agreed. For drawings, I use this thing, a bridge. I don't feel like using it right now, but I like this a lot for the drawings. I have a maul stick. I don't use it that much anymore. I used to use it all the time when I used to do book covers, but agreed. And that's a very good tip for everybody watching. From Nancy, the maul stick thing is huge, and you don't need to buy one from an art supply store. You can simply make your own, and that's what I did. I just went to the hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you like to go, and I got like a dowel, like a half-inch dowel, and then you could put anything on the top of the dowel to make it kind of hang on your easel or your drawing table, and it's very good to use. Okay, so I want to be a little bit more heavy with my outline on the nose and heavy over here. Oh, we need to erase out above the lip and right here. And this comes down and we've got the corner. This is pretty light over here. Pretty light on the nose. Okay. And yes, good. Let's erase out some of the model's hair. And that's the other beautiful thing about using the brush is now what we can do is we can draw with this eraser, which is just so much fun to do that. And this Blackwing pencil allows you to do that because the graphite is very forgiving. And yes, okay, now the ear. This is below the nostril, this part of the ear. And the earlobe is equal with the lip, so it needs to come lower. I didn't see that earlier, now I'm seeing it. Okay. Better. And that strand of hair above, inside of the ear is fairly light. Okay. Let me get the big brush and get rid of the eraser crumbs. And I'm going to blend again. I think the lips need to be bigger. Yes. Let me just get a little drink of water here for a second. Okay, so we've been at it for like 48 minutes. Not bad. Let me go to the blend-in stump. Got to make this lip bigger. Yeah, I made the lips too small. I'm just looking at it from a different angle for measuring. Okay, and the upper lip is tilted, so that's higher. And it goes to the corner. Okay, then the lower lip sticks out a little bit more. The one thing with this pencil is it gets dull quickly. And there's an angle to the chin. Let me take the edge off of that lower lip. You've got to get this line of the angle of the lower lip. It doesn't need to be so dark, but I think you need to show that. Any questions from everybody out there? Okay, little light over there. And I think I need to solidify some things here. Soften the jaw. And there's a little. So this is where I like the Col-Erase better because I can do these lines very, very lightly with the Col-Erase. So you have to use like a very soft touch with this graphite pencil because, you just touch the paper and it feels so dark. But that's why I've always liked the Col-Erase pencil because it's you can get some really gorgeous light tones with it. This just takes a little bit of extra work. Just pushing in. We're going to erase some of this out. It's a little heavy for me. Definitely a little heavy, but yeah, I want to just get it down onto the paper and then we'll see how much we're going to pull it out with the eraser. Draw, push down. Don't be afraid to make a mess. We're going to test this paper and how much abuse it can take with this pencil here. Just look at this as shapes. Getting a little heavy with it all, but I'm going to erase out again. Just pushing into the paper. You want to be careful over here that you don't go too dark with this. Draw with this kneaded eraser. Cool. I'm getting a little gritty now with the face, so I got to be careful. So I'm using these tools right now. So the brush, the Mono Zero eraser, the blend and stump, and the pencil. So that's my combo platter of tools. So I like working in the middle tones for a long period of time before I add my dark darks. This chin is giving me a run for my money today. Just don't go too dark. Just having a gradation on the jaw. And a little bit more light on the neck. A little bit more light on the earlobe. I should cut the eraser soon, but let's keep going. So you just got to really stick with it and don't get frustrated if it's not coming out the way that you would like it to. You just kind of keep pushing, and eventually it starts to look better and better and better with time. It depends. This all depends on the style, your style, and how long you actually like to work on a drawing. Some people don't like to work. My students in the animation department don't like to do drawings over 5 minutes with the figure. Everything's got to be like a short 5 minute like gesture thing or less. I like variety. I like the short ones, but I feel after a while there's only so much that you can do in like 5 minutes, and I really love 20s, and then I also like to do like long drawings like what I'm. This isn't long. We haven't been even working on this for like an hour. So yeah. Any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out with anything. Career stuff, drawing stuff, painting stuff. A little bit more light over here on this model's hair. Could do a little bit of a reverse gradation and erase the background. This eraser is a game changer. I really love it. My part of the drawing that I like the least is the model's ear, just because I'm not focused when I'm drawing it. I really just need to focus on the individual shapes, but I'm being a little lackadaisical with that section of the drawing right now. So if I wanted to, I just need to concentrate when I draw that part. So I'm going to resharpen the eraser again at risk of kind of going through the eraser. Um, okay, so yeah, let me just sharpen this time out. Okay, a little bit better. So Nancy, okay, so let's go to John. John has a question. And the question is, out of each part of this process so far, which do you see students struggling with the most? The struggle the most is seeing the larger macro angles. And listen, I'm not saying I got them all right. I didn't. Like my drawing's off. I need to move the forehead back, but it's seeing that the head is tilted this way and not straight up and down. It's seeing that the eyelashes and the eyes are tilted that way and they're not level. It's seeing this angle versus this angle. So that's the biggest struggle that I see. The most. Like I just did a critique. I wish I can show it to you, but I can't. And I did like a 30-minute draw on top of like a portrait drawing in Photoshop. And the biggest thing were the angles of the features, and they're all going in perspective. And that's what the artist missed. So it's that. It's that. Would you recommend those pencils, Mono Zero, small, mid, brush for a basic tool set? Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, there's all different styles that people like to implement. So in the classroom, I do a lot of line drawings of like the model, lots of line drawings. Like when I'm teaching at the School of Visual Arts, I'm never teaching this way because it's the animation department, and those students aren't in there. They're not coming to SVA to learn how to model this way. They're coming to SVA because they want to animate. And so in my life drawing class, to help with their animation, we do a lot of short drawings. Now, is that everything and only that I teach? No, but a lot of the tools that you choose to use are dependent upon two things. Number one, and most importantly, what you enjoy. So that's got to be paramount. You've got to enjoy it. And then number two, in tandem with enjoying, what do you like the most about doing your artwork? Do you like the meditative process of this sort of modeling? Or is this what you hate? And you're like, oh God, I hate that. I don't want to spend all this time copying a photo. I despise that. So I just want to do a quick like little sketch, and I don't even care about the likeness. So maybe you use a ballpoint pen. You know, you've got to really figure out what you enjoy, and that is extremely extremely important. Okay, I hope that helped. Yeah, this is what I have out pretty much. I hope I can show this to you and not have it go all over the place. Okay, timeout, timeout. So this is my, it's a little dusty, sorry. My go-to little, got my brushes. I've got my life drawing pencil here on for newsprint. I've got my different mono zeros. I got different size brushes. Um, and then I've got the different pencils that I like to draw with. I've got my mechanical pencils. I've got my coal erases. And those are pretty much the tools that I will use. Um, and like I could do anything with those tools, anything. And so, like, I have certain pencils that I like to use when I teach life drawing class for drawing on newsprint because you're teaching 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and I'm teaching a pre-college class this summer, so I'll be teaching like 11th graders, 10th graders, and attention span. There's a variety of attention spans with these students, so you can't spend forever doing a demonstration. You've got to be quick. So I would never in a gazillion years use the coal erase pencil on a demonstration because it just takes forever to get the darks. And so I'm going to use a different pencil for that. So yeah, the tools that you choose to use, they're really important. And you could have more than one set of tools depending on what you're doing. And I think you don't want to have too many tools, and then you're watering down your technique and you're watering down what you become like an expert at, and that's no good. You've got to really become one with your tools, and so the least amount of tools that you use, in my opinion, then you get better at becoming like one with your tools. Okay, so this jaw. What's not working for me on this drawing? A lot. A lot. I'm just looking. Upper lip. That's not working. So, okay. So the question from John is, how do I improve my art? Okay, so um, let's see here. I should be using them all. I should be using my bridge, but screw it. I'm just going to smudge it. Um, so, gosh, your art, that you said it perfectly. That's too vague. So, I used to paint book covers for. That's how I started my career. I was an illustrator for like 18 years, and I painted book covers for like 18 years, 19 years, just about. And then I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. So the question for me was always, how do I improve my oil painting technique? How do I get faster? How do I paint small heads? Because the book covers, I would always have to have one or two characters on the book cover, and I couldn't do a big painting. It would take me forever. Had to do like small paintings. And so that was like two specific things. How do I get better at oil painting? Just handling the brushes, using too much medium, not enough medium, what colors, and all that jazz. And then another little micro improvement would be, well, how do I paint smaller heads? Those are two specific questions that I tried to get answers to for many, many, many years. So the key is is drilling down on specific technique and specific things. So, okay, I'll say to students, let's talk about something different. In a life drawing class, when we are drawing a live nude model and we are doing life drawing, and I say over and over and over to the students, you've got to draw more in the middle of the body. You've got to put more information in the middle, show some anatomical landmarks. So the skill set for that mantra of draw more in the middle is learning anatomy. So then to improve my figure drawings, I wouldn't say, how do I improve my figure drawings in a general way? It's more of the question, what do I put in the middle? How do I draw more in the middle? Well, I don't know what's in the middle. So learn the muscles of the front of the torso first. Learn the muscles of the back. And those are very, very, very specific things that you could do to improve. Like the way that you're going to improve is by isolating things and just focusing in on small little things like anatomy. And then you can drill down even further. Like, let's just study the bones before we get like consumed with the muscles. So that's another like really small drill down. And the more specific, the better. So I do this exercise with my students about like when we talk about their career. And I'm like, I'm like, tell me what you want to do. Like, why are you here? And like, oh, I want to work in an animation company. And I'm like, okay, doing what? Do you want to be the janitor? Do you want to be the manager of the building? Like, what in the animation company? Be more specific. And oh, okay, I got you. Okay, I want to do keyframe animation. Better, much, much better. So specifics for me are everything, and generalities are no good. So you need to just be extremely specific on what exactly it is that you want to improve. And then just focus on that, and you'll know when it's time to move on and focus on something else. But yeah, that's so for me. When I graduated from college, I just focused on painting book cover samples for like 2 years, and it was all about getting better and with oil paint and being able to control oil paint. That was my biggest goal, and so it took a while to get there, but I finally got there. Not a big fan of this model's mouth here. Hope that helped, John. So vague is just the enemy of improvement. Absolutely. Vague is the enemy of improvement. And specifics are how you're going to improve. So you need to be really highly specific on what it is that you want to get better at. So in my classroom, I teach a perspective backgrounds class for animators. And a lot of it is digital painting stuff. And I'll get specific. I'm like, okay, this week you really, really, really need to focus on your edges. Your edges are so sloppy. So that's a specific thing that the student could like focus on. And then the next week, okay, this week I need you to really, really super duper focus on where you want the viewer to look first in your artwork. How do you accomplish that? And so I'll give the students like specific things that they need to focus on top of the general assignment. Oh my God, I only got one like. Gee whiz. Okay. Hey, if you're watching this and you're getting some value, please give me a like on this. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, so I think it's important. Specifics for me are like everything with this. And the other good thing about being more specific is that then you don't get overwhelmed trying to think of everything all at once. Then you can calm your brain and have a little sense of control because you're just focusing in on one, maybe two things at a time. and not everything, not trying to learn muscles and bones and how to use oil paint and how much medium am I using and which brushes go where. And then it just becomes like a big overwhelm. Okay, Selena. Um, Hi, Matt. I've got a question, and I'm really currently I'm currently living in Europe, and I'm really interested in animation and going to SVA. But since it's pretty expensive, do you? Okay, well, okay. Listen, a quick story on that one, Selena. So there was a student. They came to the pre-college program, and they loved it. And the pre-college program is for high school students. And like a year later, they contacted me via email. They found me on YouTube, and they said, "Would you do the one-on-one coaching with me?" And I said, "Sure." And I did the one-on-one coaching with them. We talked about their portfolio, and they got almost like a full scholarship to two art schools, and to SVA they got a partial scholarship. So SVA is, I would say, they're pretty generous with financial aid and their scholarships. So don't discount that, because that could be something that could really work for you. So that's something. Now, in terms of Selena, I'm a big believer in SVA, the School of Visual Arts, because I've been teaching there for like, I don't even know how long, 28 years now, since 1997, and I absolutely love it. So I'm a big proponent of that. But it's 2025, and everything that is taught at SVA can be learned online through teachers like myself teaching here on YouTube. So there, you don't have to. If you're a self-starter and you're very good with your discipline and you can sit down and work and not get distracted, you can learn everything at home, and you don't need to go to like a big expensive school. And everyone goes to school for different reasons. Some people just like the life experience when you're younger, and you don't really get that life experience when you're learning on YouTube, but you get life experience when you're trying to go to a class cross town when it's 20 degrees out and there's sleet, and you have to like wake up and do all that stuff. So that's life experience. So everything that is taught at SVA is taught online from one teacher somewhere, and through people's like courses and stuff like that. So you don't have to go to like an expensive school. But going back to that student, like, yeah, totally, they got they got multiple scholarships, and they were really gifted, and their portfolio. I mean, it was shocking how good it was at such a young age. But you can do that too. Okay, let me just get a little drink of water here and give my hand a rest. So it's how long have we been working on this? 72 minutes. I don't even, yeah. So just let me rest my hand, lower my hand below my heart for a second. Get the blood flowing. Okay, let me answer a couple questions just so I can put my hand lower than my heart so I can get some blood flow back down in my arm. Um, Fabrizio Condori. Where do you usually start a portrait? I tried from the outside inside, but when I start with the eyes, I really struggle and end up changing the proportions and erasing a lot. Maybe start with the eyes. Okay, Fabrizio, there is no one right way. So in this particular portrait, I started with the shadow above her left eyelid. I like the eye sockets. The eye sockets really work for me. And then, okay, let me explain with drawing and not just with words. Oh yeah, see, I'm a good teacher. Look at that. That looks beautiful. So what am I doing here? Okay, so yes, you can start with the eye, and you can start with the shadow above the eye, the eyebrow, and then you can move to the nose and do the nose like that, and then shadow under the nose, and then you start to do mini measurements. So you say, how long is from here to here? How long is from the eye to the bridge of the nose? And that's what I was doing. And then you start to spiral out. So it's a spiraling out, and then you can say, well, how far away is the ear? And so you start to do all these mini measurements. The other way is, let's do angles, and let's draw the shape of the hair first. And I love both ways. And so I'll look at my photo reference, or if I'm doing a life drawing, and I'll decide which technique I'm going to do dependent upon the pose and dependent upon how I'm feeling. So this angles thing is really how I learned how to do the portraits, not by doing the eyes first. But I like both. And one is not wrong and one is not right. They're just different, and you have to just practice both of them. And yes, so the idea is constantly pulling down measure lines. Hey, what's right below the eyebrow? What's right across from the corner of the eye? What is right up above from the tip of the nose? You have to constantly do that sort of stuff. I hope that helped. Okay, so you got it, Fabrizio. And so, what a coincidence! Background layout and paint is what I'm trying to do. I'm going to use your advice now and get good. You got it, John. Absolutely. So I would love to share all of my student artwork, because it's really background digital painting for animation. So just think animation, the backgrounds, and there's all different styles of animation. Some of it is more on the realistic anime side. Some of it's more on the cute, fun side. And so that's pretty much, I teach image making a lot. And that's one of my classes, image making. It's perspective, but it's perspective background. And I love that class. I love the students. It's so much fun. And then the other thing is just the figure drawing and drawing in general. Okay, so let's see. You got it, Selena. What else can I do to this portrait? I don't know. Do I want to keep working on this? I should keep working on it a little bit more. Parts of it I like, parts of it I don't like. I think I should work on the eye a little bit. Maybe the eyelid is too small. Okay, I think what I need to do, I think I just need to get up off of this freaking chair. I've been sitting down for too long. So listen, I'm going to give myself like a 30-second like stretch break, and I will be right back. And I am going to answer more of your questions and try to push the drawing a little bit more. But right now, I've been sitting in this chair for way too long. My butt's killing me. So just give me a second. All right, I'm back. It's so in a life drawing situation, it's the longest I'll sit down and work is 20 minutes, because the model poses for like 20 minutes, and then why is that happening? The model works for like 20 minutes, and then we take like a 5-minute break, or I do a demo. So yes, sitting down for 70 to 80 minutes is not what I enjoy to do in a row. It's no good for your body. Sitting is the new smoking. Um, okay, so let me just answer a couple of questions here, and then I'll continue working. I'm glad that I stood up because I had the eyebrow right the first time. I just lowered it too much. Okay, so this is Charles. When you have an opportunity, please help me. My problem, I am unable to log into my account. When attempting to log in, I get a message that says account not found. So, Charles, listen to me. You need to email me with the email that you signed up with, okay? Because I need your email address that you signed up with, and then I can look at your account and figure out what happened, okay? So sometimes when I type in my CRM, my customer database, I will type in the person's name, but it doesn't show their account. Like I need your email. Like the email is paramount, and then I can help you with that. Please, it's email at drawn-tutorials-online.com. Go to my website, drawn-tutorials-online.com, and click on the contact, and my email's right there, and I can take care of this for you this afternoon. Sometimes, like a lot of people have been members for a long time, and then they get a new credit card and they never update their credit card in their account or ask me to do it, and they just get logged out because there's a credit card fail. So that could have happened. Fabricio, yes, thank you. And may I ask, how do you measure with the pencil? I mean, the posture of your arm and how far you are from the image. So for me, it's I wish I had a picture of a portrait, but I don't. It's just I visually just look at the tip of the model's nose and I say, what's right below it? So if I do that right now, what's right below the model's nose? I'm on my photo reference. I Yeah, so I'll do that. What's right up above the chin? What's right below the brow? Now, could I have done that a little bit more carefully on this drawing? Yeah, you bet. I didn't. I'm a little sloppy with the measurements, but you could do it where you physically put the pencil on the paper. I don't do that. Like I just do it visually. And that's helpful. And so, like bottom of the ear, what's right across from the bottom of the ear, I so do not have this perfect. And then distances, like how long is from the eyelid to the bridge of the nose, like those, and how long is from this part of the eye to that shadow shape. That's what I look at the most. It's level lines and plumb lines. It's really that. Okay, what else can I do to this portrait? Um, I'm gonna put the eyebrow back up. This isn't erasing that well. Okay, there we go. Better. Little bit of a bigger eyelid. Soften this line a touch. Brow bone a little bit lighter. A little bit lighter over here. Strands of hair. I think I'm too dark with the lips. That's for me the pencil. Like I'm used to the Colorase. I don't go that dark with the Colorase, but I wouldn't want to do this drawing with the Colorase. It would take me forever to get this complete on a live stream. If I was drawing for myself, I think I'd get better results with my Colorase because I've just been using that since basically 2000, and so 25 years I've been using the Colorase, and I'm just so used to that pencil. But I it's good, but it's not good in a teaching environment because it just takes way too long to get the darks down. All of this is too dark. What else can I do? Let's go over here. A little bit lighter on the neck. Adam's apple area. Throat. Just looking at little nuances now. Um, I take way too many breaks. I like breaks. I ruined my body being an illustrator, sitting down in the chair for hours at a time and painting because I had to meet a deadline. And so it's so bad for you. And I'm going to honestly say, like, I don't have the most comfortable chair. I need to get like a new computer chair. I gave my computer chair to my daughter and she's using it right now. So I need to get a new one. The chair that I'm using is not that comfortable. And when I teach in the classroom, my computer chair at the classroom is so comfortable. But when I teach life drawing, working at an easel. I'm standing up a lot in my life drawing class. But when I'm doing the digital backgrounds class, digital painting, I'm doing critiques a lot and I sit down a lot there. But my body clock is on SVA model body clock. It's 20 minutes working, 5 minute break, 20 minutes working, 5 minute break. And when you take that 5 minute break, you have to get up and reset your eyes. So look at something out the window very, very far away. And if you do that, like I needed to get up and I needed to look at this drawing from far away with like a clean set of eyes. And you do get tunnel vision. If you just try to sit down and do this all like in one fell swoop, that's really bad, in my opinion. Now, when you're younger, I'm sure you can sit down for like 2 hours and not even think about it. But like I said, I've destroyed my body over the years being an illustrator, sitting down way too much and working for just hours at a time. And that is not what you want to do. And you do get tunnel vision, no doubt. I wanted to mention that my, that that long ago, Lisa Labracchio visited my animation class in Moldova for the master class. We connected instantly as soon as I mentioned your channel. Yeah, Lisa, I definitely remember Lisa. I don't remember what year Lisa was in my class, but Lisa was a great student, very, very talented. I forgot all about. I've been teaching for years, so wow, that's a cool story. You know, it's interesting. I've seen students go full circle because I've taught in the pre-college. I'm teaching pre-college this July. I think it's from like July 10th to July 15th. And I've seen students take the pre-college class and then become undergraduate students, and then they graduate and they go on to do like really big things. And it's so much fun to see people's journeys. And then there's so many journeys that I don't see. Like there was just a graduating class that I really connected with, and they were a great group of students. And some of them I won't hear from for years, and because they're out building their life. And you know, sometimes when students are done with college, they want to be done with college and they want to move on. So you don't hear from them anymore, and so that's a little sad, but it is what it is, and it's fun when you hear the success. Okay, now what did I do with my Mono Zero? Okay, timeout. What in God's name do I do with this stuff? You don't there it is under my little thing. You don't realize how powerful some of these tools are that you use. Okay. Okay, let me just look at a couple of these questions and then I'll draw a little bit more. Um, for the mouth, is there something about the front plane of the upper lip turning up to the front, or is the shadow highlight wait a second. Is there something about the front plane of the upper lip turning up too far to the front? Yeah, I didn't capture that. Something's going on with that. Or is the shadow highlight mine is not correct, but the lip is turning up. It is. And the way that I drew this gal's lips, I have it's way too dark, way too dark. And that I could spend like a good 20 minutes working on that. So the lips are turning up and there's perspective, and maybe I need to work on that a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to work on the lips next. I only use white chalk when I'm using toned paper or working on a drawing on painted illustration board. Okay. So I'm going to work on the lips because the lips are such a character trait for this model. Okay, so lips. I got to try to get a little bit closer to this drawing without getting my bald head into the scene. So, yeah, okay. So, this eraser first, I'm going to lower the lip. It's too thick. And then there's a little light right there. And then there's a reflected light on the upper lip from the lower lip. So I'm going to erase some of that out. And then there's reflected light. I don't want to go too light with it. I'm going to branch away from this and I'm going to go to the bottom of the nose. And this is catching light here at the corner. And now outside, this is way too dark, so I'm going to lighten this. And let's lighten it a little bit more. It's a little heavy with that pencil. I'm blaming the pencil, people. I'm blaming the pencil. And let's get that side plane. I'm going to have to go darker with that, but I just want to erase out and then just I'll go back in with the pencil. And so now the lower lip is tilting. I see now. Okay, helpful. And this is just all too dark. It's a little heavy. Much, 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 much too dark. I don't want to change the whole value structure of the drawing right now. And then there's also a light, a reflected light under the lip. And this is too much of a black outline. Okay. And angle of the lower lip. This is way too black, but I'm being stylized with the drawing. The upper lip is casting a shadow on the lower lip right there. Good. And then there's a little light thing of skin under where the lip touches the face right there, and that's an angle. And then over here, we've got a little light. That's too light, but yeah. If you're heavy-handed like I am a little bit here today, just draw with blend and stump with the residual. I have a friend who vapes, and I'm like, I always say to him, like, Paulie, come on, stop vaping because I'm going to get residual. And he's like, you don't get residual from a vape. I'm like, yes, you do. And he's like, no, you don't. And so every time, I see him, he's like, Matt, I'm going to give you residual. So it's pretty funny. Yeah. I wanted to mention that. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, I'm going to draw a little bit with this eraser. Technically, so what I'm learning, you have to go into every drawing and treat it as like a learning experience. And what I'm learning with this drawing using this pencil is, man, oh man, this. So when you use this pencil, you have to guard yourself against going heavy-handed. And I would say there are some parts of the drawing where I went a little bit too heavy-handed with it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, but it is a little too dark. And the way that you get the likeness of a model, one way is that you match values. And so I'm very heavy-handed with this drawing. So there's a lot of areas of this drawing where I am not matching the values that I see. And that will, so for instance, I say this story over and over again because it left such a huge impression on me with values. And when you would paint a book cover, it seemed like every freaking book cover, you know, the author wrote the main character in the book for a young adult book cover, the character had like light, red hair with light blue green eyes. And then you have to try to find a model in like 2 days that matches that. And they're so hard to find. So you just get like a regular model with like brown eyes. And then you change their eyes when you do the painting, and you go from brown eyes to light blue green eyes. And when you change that, it's not the color, it's the value. And then you change the value of the eyes in your painting, and it doesn't even look like that model anymore. So like values make such a big deal for the likeness, right? And I'm very, very stylized with this drawing and very heavy with it. And so that is going to change the look and feel of the likeness factor. I hope that helped. Okay, we only got one like, people. I would love it if somebody else can give me a like for this particular video. Hopefully the likes are just not showing up on the live stream, and maybe they'll show up after. I don't know how YouTube works that way, but yeah, if you're liking this video, please help me out a little bit with giving the live stream a like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you gotta subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna be doing more live streams, and it's good when you get like notified before, so you're prepared and you can grab a sheet of paper and draw along with me. Okay, I'm gonna sharpen this again. So sharpening this little eraser is just like cleaning your paintbrush. It's something that you have to constantly do. Now, I'm sure when I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to see so many things that I don't like. But during the live stream, I guess it's fine. Okay, so that was me. You've got 32 of them. Okay, well, that's weird. On my YouTube, because I've got like a YouTube screen open, it says one. So thank you so much. I appreciate that, John. Thanks for the heads up. It isn't updating. Okay, gotcha. Wow, 97 minutes. Whoa. Okay. What else can I do? What do you see? What else can I do here? Let's do a little bit more. I think I didn't spend enough time working on this model's eye. This is where I don't love this pencil, because you just, what I have to practice with this pencil is the light touch. So that's as light as I can go right now. Pretty light. So I need to practice with this pencil to go lighter. And yeah. So I don't want a straight line with this lid. And let's get these lashes a little bit darker. Just pulling that back a little bit. So how do you know when you're done? When it looks good and you want to make it look better and then you screw up. That's like a little, the universe telling you, hey, you should just stop. Um, but also, you know, when you're done in accordance with your personal style of drawing. So if your personal style is that you like to spend, um, 30 hours on a drawing and you're into it like only 9 hours, well, you're not done yet. So that also will help you figure out when you're done and when you're not done. Uh, I feel like the darkest shapes being on the facial features kind of works out. Okay. I like it darker too, but if I really want to go for the likeness, it's way too dark, no doubt. Matching values is one of the most important things that you can do in a portrait situation. I would say occlusion shadows in the ear, but do we really need to make the ears darker? I feel like the darker shapes, okay, and yeah, that's so true. Okay. Do you think background around the lips would be good? I don't know. I don't know. That's a really good question because I what I'm doing here is I'm losing the edge over here at the shoulder. So every drawing that you work on and every painting that you work on should have a hard edge, a soft edge, and a lost edge. So I made the decision very early on in the mix that I wanted this profile to be my hard edge. And so love it or hate it, I went a little dark with the pencil. And so I'm going to just like accept that. But if I did that around the entire head, then the head is separated from the environment. And so, in order for it to feel a little atmospheric, you need to have some areas that are lost. So the lost areas right here, where the hair is touching the model's shoulder. Um, and I could lose more edges, but yeah. So if I put a background here, that's not going to work for me because that's where I have decided to have my sharper edge. Do I need the strap? I do not need the strap. This needs to curve. It's not curved enough. Convex line. This isn't erasing out too good at the ear over here because I overworked it and I pressed down really hard. So that's a good learning experience for me with this pencil that I should be a little bit more cautious in the beginning when I'm doing my measurements, especially with a busy place like the ear. Value matching is one of the most important things in my opinion that is it's the skill that will be the skill that enables you to improve the most when you're able to see values, match values, and manipulate values. So, manipulating values is when you're doing a sketch. Let's say you're doing a scene a digital painting and you're going to do your value study of that, you can do a 3 value study, a 5 value study, and then you can do like an all value study. And when you do that, that is the most crucial element, in my opinion, of image making is value studies. And value isn't that important if you're into figure drawing and doing like gesture drawing and stuff like that. But for image making, it's crucial. And for portrait drawing and painting, it's to me, it's the most important skill. Absolutely. Now, when I teach in my life drawing class and we're drawing the model, I don't really care about matching values. But for a portrait like this, I'm not matching the values, but I'm here to tell you that, in my opinion, and I've been doing this professionally since 1990, that matching values is the most important skill. So how do you match values? Well, where did I put that other side of the value scale? It's hard on white paper, but you just sit here and you live here and you, with your pencil, and you try to match that value and you squint. This one's going to be really hard. I'm already going too dark. So I'd have to smudge. And it's already too dark. This pencil's mucho difficulte to do this. And then match that value. And, you know, the problem with this situation is the tooth of the paper, those little white specks. Now, when I squint at that, that's not bad. That's too dark. So that's what you've got to practice, and it's so not easy. Okay, what else can I do to this portrait? Let's just raise this. Maybe a little bit of a darker shadow at the inner eye. It kind of anchors the focus of her eye. You mean this eye, Nancy, where I'm pointing? So there's matching values and then there's manipulating values, and you can manipulate values and you can be like a little bit more stylized with your drawing. So I am definitely being a little bit more stylized with this drawing where I'm outlining on the left side. So that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, where you're going to manipulate. But I think you should be able to practice both manipulation of the values and matching of the values. Just lightening that lid. Yep, but the inner corner here, the tear duct. Okay, gotcha. Boy, I haven't done this in a while. This is fun, but it's time consuming, no doubt. Now I'm making a little bit of a mistake, but at least I'm being consistent. I'm going way too dark inside of the ear, and it just is not flattering to any human being when you go too dark with the inside of the ear. So yeah, just be careful with that. Let's just work on the hair a little bit. A couple more strands of hair here. I like the messiness of it over there. I don't want to over render. Oops, there goes the mono zero under the chair. Okay, I gotta get that pencil. 1 second. That eraser. Okay, time for a different technique. So I'm flattening my kneaded eraser. Okay. And I'm going to drag the kneaded eraser over certain areas, like this area. I want to take some pencil off of the paper. So you can see pencil is coming off of the paper. It's on the eraser. So you're just kind of like dragging the eraser softly, soft pressure. Look at all that pencil that's coming off. So it's a good way to like lighten things a little bit. Now, let's see. I just want to check one thing. Okay, that's not too tilted. Um, I'm just looking at this from far away. So I'm just doing some big broad things right now. Almost there. Okay, so I think I'm going to call this thing quits soon. Any other questions before I call this one quits? Um, Okay, let me look at the chat here. That highlight at the lost edge of her hair is fire. I appreciate that. Um, I'm just using this cheap. It's Strathmore 400 series paper. You can buy it anywhere. Michaels, Staples, Blick. It's just Strathmore 400 series drawing paper at 80 pounds, and it's a pretty universal paper. Um, I really like it. I've been using it for years, and it works for me. I'm just playing right now. This drawing's kind of done, but I want to. There's a couple things. There's something about the jaw that I don't love. I don't know what the heck it is, but I'd have to. What I really need to do, and this isn't a cop out. This is just truth. Is you need to step away from the drawing and like put it down, step away from it, and come back to it. That's very very important. I haven't really spoken to that too much. Um, and yeah, so you can also give these like little flicks of hair. This is also very fun because you do get tunnel vision with your drawings. Absolutely. And right now I've got tunnel vision, so I've lost some like proportions that are mucking with me, and I'm not gonna see them. Like I'll step away from the drawing and I'm like, oh damn, why didn't I see that during like the live stream? Um, um, You got it, Nancy. Yeah, I'm gonna. Let's say I'll give myself. It's 2:56. Let's be official and go till 3 o'clock. Um, yeah, let's go to 3 o'clock, and then we'll call this one done. And so, listen. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get notified when I do a live stream. I also send out emails to people who sign up to my email list on drawingtutorialsonline.com when I'm gonna uh, do a live stream. And so, yeah, I really enjoy doing them. I procrastinate with them. I don't know. It's just a mental hang up that I have. And I need to get over that pretty quickly. But yeah, that's truth. And it is what it is. And I just, because this is just fun. And I love doing these. It's really cool. And for me, this was a learning experience with this pencil. I never in a gazillion years would have done this with this pencil. Uh, I think I would have done a much, much better drawing with the Col-Erase pencil because that's my go-to. But the problem is my hand would be screaming at me tonight because you have to press down so freaking hard to get, the darks. And is it worth it in a teaching drawing? Not really. Yeah. I'm going to work on this after the live stream, after I take like a little break and stretch, because I'm going to post it to the blog community post, the posts here on my YouTube channel. So if you want to check it out there, you can. That was fun. That was really fun. Um, awesome. All right. Any questions before we call this one done? I appreciate that. No pressure. Do what you can. Do what you can. If you can join, great. Not everybody loves all of the subject matter. Like right now, we're doing landscapes, and I'm teaching people how to draw water. So we're doing like a beach. It's more water, less beach, but that's the topic of next class. And I like landscapes a lot. I like portraits better, and I love figure the most. And I think I'm best at probably figure and portraits, but I really do enjoy it. So I get it. You know, if you're not into the subject matter, it's kind of hard to join. Okay, Nancy, I'll try that. Absolutely. I got to go to the art supply store and get some. Now, listen, if you are a member of drawingtutorialsonline.com, you can post your drawing to the critique gallery and I could paint on top of it. And that's how you really, really learn. Like learning, people learn many, many different ways. People learn from listening, people learn from doing, people learn from watching. But the other ingredient is the feedback. And you know, you can watch somebody do something, but then you're just missing that one little thing. And until that teacher critiques your artwork, you don't know what that one little thing is. So if you're stuck, check out DTO. Maybe check out the coaching that I offer. The summer is a phenomenal time to do the coaching because I'm actually not commuting to Manhattan, and so I actually can do it. So yeah, it's fun. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching this. This was awesome to do, and I appreciate all of your company. And thank you, Gene, for watching. Thank you, Nancy, for all the feedback, and Outdoor Spaces, and Devastator. I appreciate you, man. John, lots of good people on here today. Strawberry Shake. Yeah. Don Art Center, Study, B.A. Humdinger. Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go stretch a little bit, maybe take the dogs outside, and just make sure you click on that bell so you get the notifications when I do the next live stream. I'm probably going to work on this a little bit this afternoon, and I'll post it to the post section of the YouTube channel in a couple of hours. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.